for the third and hopefully final part of the Lego Shrek, the large Shrek set. Yeah, we're just going to get right on this and continue building. You know, I'll have the chat right here, answer any questions I find neat. Does it look a little crooked? Kind of looks a little crooked. Let's straighten ourselves out here. There we go. All right. You can probably hear my crunchy beanbag chair. Wouldn't be a live stream without my crunchy beanbag chair. Thank you, Starfrog Stuff, who says, I love your videos. I love you. Hey, Cowboy Tom, hello. Telephone wire, hello, hello. Everyone pour in here. Bring the chat up on the old lappy top. There we go. All right. Hello, Maddie. We're going to continue with bag 7. And here we go. The Lego set that takes 10,000 years to build. And then we'll do a wrap-up, and I'll give you my review of the set. What general thoughts of the building experience with this set. Afternoon, Austin, says Chosen622. Hello. Pinocchio fan. Hello. I'm also a fan of Pinocchio. That is no lie. Get this bag open. Shrek is looking like a weird morphed Wolverine. Yeah, he kind of does. You can see the little, it looks like Wolverine's mask here, right? From the, I was going to say from the comics, but I think Hugh Jackman finally put on the costume, because I've seen the action figure of him in the costume. But, oh no, losing a Lego stud. But I haven't caught up on Marvel movies, so I wouldn't know. Here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, 8 pieces there. 8 pieces there. We're gonna catch ourselves this time before we make any ridiculous mistakes in the set building. Jackson says it looks like a Shrek bust. Yeah, we need to make Shrek's legs today. Starfrog Stuff. I love the Puss in Boots figure so much as a fan. I'd give it 10 out of 10. Yeah, the minifigure is really fantastic. He's really great. He is the reason to buy this set. By far, he is great. And he looks a lot better than the one that's going to come out in the CMF wave. That'll be due in like, oh god, only like a couple weeks from that coming out. So much Lego Shrek. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go, right? Okay, hi, Luciano, hello. The Fortnite notice here, yes, hello, Lego Luca Pro. Hello. Anyone else seen the Fortnite photos coming out of Universal Studios for the scale zone? That looks pretty neat. You know, I don't do the spooky stuff, but Fortnite will make me brave anything, right? Especially if they have like live characters of all the Fortnite skins. That would be that'd be pretty neato. Pinocchio from Shrek should be in Fortnite. Yeah, he'd make a good companion, wouldn't he? One of the little pets. I think for Shrek Fortnite, it'll probably just be Shrek, and then maybe Felicia if it's a tie-in with Shrek 5, and then Donkey and Puss as followers. Seems like the obvious move. I guess Fiona, right? Fiona would have to be in there. How is this going to go? Okay, there. And then... the Onion Carriage. The Onion Carriage would make a good glider for Fortnite. Dragon would also be a great glider choice. I will be very curious to see what they do. I think if they really wanted to, Shrek could be a whole mini-season, like with what they did with Simpsons. But I don't think they'll go that far, sadly. But I'd love to see it. Gingy would be a good companion, too. Yeah, I mean, there is just a lot you could do. Something about, like, Shrek's world, and it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so anachronistic, right? It would work well with Fortnite. Shrek could be anywhere, any place, and it would just be great. Plus, the cartoony style of Fortnite does kind of look like the new Shrek 5 art style. I mean, a popcorn bucket. Oh, yeah, for the Onion Carriage. I mean, popcorn bucket is a must for the Onion Carriage, because it would be poking fun at Disney, who makes the Cinderella carriage popcorn buckets. I think that'd be really clever. I got Disney on the mind, because I just went to D23 Expo. If you haven't watched the latest video, check it out. I went to DisneyCon this weekend, and oh boy, it was wild. It was wild. Pinocchio Shrek should be a skin. Maybe. He does fit the proportions, if they really wanted to. He's, like, long and lanky, like the Fortnite characters. They've gotten very creative with the restrictions of the Fortnite body. Like, they put Sonic in the game, even though he doesn't quite look like the Fortnite. I mean, he doesn't quite fit the Fortnite proportions. They made it work. I'll check out the video after the stream. Yeah, do so. It's very interesting. It's like Alice in Wonderland. Like, I'm in a strange land I don't belong in. The world of Disney. It was an educational experience. The trailer already showed the onion carriage is, so that's the argument for me talking about it. Yeah, the onion carriage was featured prominently in the trailer. My Five Below stocked on Shrek Stretchies. Oh, that's very interesting, because I haven't seen those in a while. I actually only saw them the day they came out. I saw the Instagram reel of them, and then I ran to Five Below. They had 2 left, and I never saw them again. I mean, those were a really popular item. They were priced really low. They were like $3 for what is essentially a fully articulated action figure. So those were never going to last. Those were always just going to sell out instantly. Hello, Kodiak Bear. Welcome. See, you made it this time. You made it. You're here. DreamWorks said Shrek 5 will be for adults. Yes, they did. I mean, all the Shrek movies are for adults, so I mean, that's not too surprising. They're very good at balancing the tone to where kids will watch it for the fun cartoon characters, and adults will stick around for the jokes. Wow, there's a lot of bricks in this step here. 22 bricks in a single step. Whoa. Okay, I gotta look away from the chat for a moment for this one, because this is a really complicated. It's all these little pieces. All these little tiny pieces go in one step. That is crazy. Alright, so that, there, okay, and then, oh boy, 4, okay, 4 of these, all tiny little studs. They're the same color as every other brick, so you can't even see what you're doing. This is a pain in the butt is what this is. Oy vey. That? Okay, yes. Sorry, this is a complicated step. I'm in intense focus mode, because this is going to be so easy for people to make mistakes on. I have some things to say about the build about this when I'm done. I certainly do. There we go. And then 2 more. Okay, 2 more. There. And... oh, please be here. Please. No! No, how did I lose it? I don't understand. Okay, where's the bag? And they didn't think to give me an extra one of these because they're so flippin' tiny. It's not here. Where's the bag of extra pieces from last time? There was one in the bag of extra pieces. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Okay. Oh, look at that. That was very painful. All those little dots right there. All right, let's catch up on the chat. Hi, Brimstone. Sonic74 says, hi, Brimstone. I've been watching since you started your Shrek videos, and I've loved every moment learning about the merchandise, and I want to know what you think will happen for Shrek 5 merchandise. I mean, we're getting Legos, that's for sure. I think we'll also get fashion dolls, is my big prediction. I think we're going to get a lot of fashion dolls for this movie. I hope Kitty Softpaws meets Shrek eventually. I think that would be cool. So Starfrog stuff. Yes, I think Shrek 6 is going to be when Kitty Softpaws. I think she'll become best friends with Fiona, and I would love to see them go on like a girls' adventure B-plot. Let's do Thelma and Louise with Fiona and Kitty Softpaws. That would be hilarious. So much you could do there. Leon Ogo says, yes, same Austin. I built the Lego Jurassic Park anniversary set, and my goodness, so many steps. I was worried about messing it up in some way. Yeah, they really are adult Lego sets. I thought they just called them adult Lego sets because they were typically doing properties aimed at, like, adults only, like X-Files and, I don't know, was it like Gilmore Girls? It was like stuff kids wouldn't buy. But Shrek is a license kids would buy. So that's why I was confused. I'm like, oh, why is the Shrek Lego set for adults? And now, having built the thing, yeah, I get why this is an adult Lego set. I don't think a kid would be able to figure this out. A kid would become very stressed out with this set. Your opinion on Trolls 1, 2, and 3? I like the Trolls movies. They're very good. I think Mike Mitchell directed those. He did a great job. They're very colorful and fun. You can see how DreamWorks was leaning into the aesthetic with those movies they would later like fully adopt with Puss in Boots and Forgotten Island. That very bright, visual, colorful style. Fiona and Star Fox stuff says Fiona and Kitty being potential best friends will now be on the top of my list for hopes. Yeah, it would be great. It'd be great. Possum Checkos. I want X-Files skins in Fortnite so bad. Oh, give it time. It's owned by Disney. I learned the X-Files is owned by Disney because there was X-Files stuff at D23 at DisneyCon, and I'm like, they own that too? They own that too. Oh. Never attached that on. Okay. So that is going to go on there. Okay? Oh, it's missing I missed a piece. How did I miss a piece? What the heck? I'm going back again because I'm making more mistakes. A Planet says, hi Austin, would you like to visit the East Coast? If so, where would you be interested in? I would love to visit the East Coast. I'm going to go with a strange choice here. I'm going to say I would love to visit Pennsylvania. I would love to see the Amish country and Pittsburgh. I played a video game many years ago called Night in the Woods about Pennsylvania. And ever since that game, I've been fascinated by Pennsylvania. Such an interesting U.S. state. I would love to visit Pittsburgh, and then go drive off into the countryside and get an Amish pretzel. That would be great. Sonic says, did you know Arthur is actually a fairy tale in one of your videos? You said he wasn't, but I saw he was in a video. Well, yeah, it's like King Arthur's fairy tales, right? Kodiak Bear says, yes, also Anthrocon. That's right. Pittsburgh is kind of like Foley capital USA. It is the Foley city. I think they recently designated Pittsburgh as like the official Foley town. They get like way into the spirit for ForCon. They dress up all the businesses. It's like a whole celebration. So I always kind of felt like right at home at Pittsburgh. It was where I wanted to move for a very long time. But it was just too far. And you know, now that I have a collection like this, yeah, moving that far is going to be a little difficult. But I was able to pull off a move, and I'm very happy with the move and the new swamp. Very happy. Pennsylvania has some beautiful scenery. You rock, yeah, right? Like, I bet you most of you were expecting me to say, like, New York, but I don't know. I don't really care much for, like, the big touristy stuff. I want to see stuff off the beaten path. I want to, like, go to some dingy hole-in-the-wall pizzeria in Pittsburgh. That's my type of vacation. And then we'll go hit up Anthrocon. I always wanted to do Anthrocon. Although people say the small ForCons are better. I've done the small ones. They're a lot of fun. But I'd like to try the big one day. It would be fun. Love the Amish markets here in Maryland. Not too far from PA. That's correct, Ren. Maryland does border PA. Maryland is like such an interesting shaped state. It's like all jagged, and it goes like a little bit into West Virginia. And then also it like encompasses all of Delaware. That is just a freaky shaped state. And I think that's cool. Because here in California, you know, California is so big, we're like 15 states in one. And if you want to travel to any other state, it's like, you know, 4 to 5 hours in any direction. And then you're just going to go into Nevada, Arizona, which I love those states a lot. They're very beautiful, but they're just deserty. So it's like, okay, deserts in all directions. You know, you can go down into Mexico if you have a passport, or you could go way up into Oregon, but that's going to take you like 2 days minimum to get out of California because it's such a big state. It's huge. Where would you want a DreamWorks con to be? I would probably say here. I think it should be here in LA because that's where all of the DreamWorks animators and directors and actors live. That's where you could get your best pool of talent would be in LA. If you held it anywhere else, they wouldn't drive out for that sort of thing. So there you go. Also, it'd be close to me, so I'd benefit from that. I used to live in Los Angeles, and yes, it's a big place. Tell me about it. Yeah, tell me about it. Oh yeah, this goes here, okay. Oh, I think I'm building one of Shrek's arms right now. Possibly. Maybe. Flushed away Lego set would be good. Yeah. Justo, hello, Justin. Justin Talks Puppets, a Shrek con for the win. Make it a DreamWorks con. Include everything. We'll have Megamind and Flushed Away. Why the heck not? And then all of you need to do me a favor and go subscribe to Justin, because his channel is flippin' great. Justin was the one that took me to D23 at DisneyCon. Very interesting experience. Justin's like a pro at the Disney conventions, too. So without Justin, I would have been horribly lost at D23. I would have not known what to do. Like this Lego set where I'm completely lost and don't know what to do. I keep making mistakes. Okay, that and then this here. Okay. Bees Poppin'. I like that username. Bees Poppin'. So shout out to everyone here. Heck yeah, y'all the Brogos. Thank you for showing up and watching me build Lego Shrek. Oh, this might be Shrek's shoulder, actually. That's what I'm thinking. And that big piece goes... yeah, there we go. Starflog stuff. So the Adventures of Puss in Boots gets referenced. I will probably cry tears of joy. Yeah, I would love that too. Anyone else want Dulcinea to show up? Criminally underrated character right there. But I don't know if they will, to be honest. That's a good question. I always kind of figured that if they ever made a Puss in Boots sequel, like after the 2011 movie, that we never would have seen Kitty Softpaws again. I thought she was a one-off character, but, they ended up making her a staple, so you never know. You never really know. How would you DreamWorks animation fan 1995 says, how would you feel if Arthur comes back in Shrek 5? I mean, I'd be shocked. I think they're going to save him for a later one down the line. Who else we got here? Born with the Lexa says, the greatest Shrek content creator of all time. Thank you. It's very, very nice. There's other great Shrek content creators out there. It's not just me. I encourage you all to go check out Instagram. Go follow Shrek History and Swamp Archives. They make amazing Shrek content. I'm just happy to be here and to be a part of the Brogos. Love you all. Although it's underrated, I know that some people might disagree, but I thought he was really funny. Well, he's got some good lines. What's the line when he's rocking in a free world? I always thought that one was funny. Of course, I can't even remember the full line, which tells you how memorable it is. Remember when Shrek tries to, talk hip lingo with Arthur? That's pretty funny, right? I mean, it's got its moments. I need to watch Shrek the Third again. It's been, 2 weeks since I've watched it. Now what have I done? So this goes there. Okay, there we go. All right. Yay, more beige pieces. Everything's beige, and I can't tell what's what. DreamWorks should invite you to the Shrek 5 red carpet premiere. I wish, Tunes, I wish. Somebody give Jeffrey Katzenberg a phone call. Let him know. Dairy Cook Bride says Shrek the Third was a film. I agree. Shrek the Third was a film. Shrek the Third was the most movie that ever movied. I saw it in the theater and thought, wow, what a movie. DreamWorks Fan 95, how do you feel if Universal makes a live-action remake of Shrek? Oh, they will. They will, trust me. I was just watching Shafe Willis's Moana video, and Shafe brings up a very good point. Wait, no, I'm getting my reviewers mixed up. Was this Shafe Willis or Captain Midnight? It might have been Captain Midnight. I can't even remember. Okay, what I'm about to say either gets credited to Shafe Willis or Captain Midnight. I don't know. They're both great content creators. But one of them said that going forward in the live-action game, the nostalgia is going to shift from 90s properties like Lion King and Mulan, and what else did they do? Aladdin, to 2000s properties. And DreamWorks has the upper hand with 2000s movies. We already saw the How to Train Your Dragon live-action movie come out and make almost $1 billion. That movie made a ton of money. Believe it or not, the How to Train Your Dragon live-action movie outgrossed Superman and Fantastic Four. I could not believe that. That actually stuns me. And that means that they are going to go all in on the live-action remakes. We are stuck with them. They're going to happen. And you can bet they are giddy at the thought of a Shrek live-action remake. Because that's $1 billion movie right there. Easy. Starfog stuff. So what is your favorite DreamWorks TV show? Ooh, that's a good question. I like Penguins of Madagascar. I thought the jokes in that one were very funny. In terms of, replicating what you see on screen, I actually think that Legends of Awesomeness, the Kung Fu Panda show, might be the most faithful. That is a really, really good show. A lot of the episodes, especially the two-parters, are, comparable to Kung Fu Panda movies. It's a very good show. South Park fan 420 says, since I know you love Glitch Productions, what are your thoughts on Visvipop? Visvipop animation. A lot of people have opinions on Visvipop. I don't really care for her style of humor. but I love her art style. So I don't really care for the writing, but visually, I think her shows look pretty fantastic. And I would be very, very curious to see Visby Pop try a family film. I feel like sometimes when you're put in a box like that, you end up writing stronger stuff. It would be very interesting to see her have to write something that was PG or PG-13 because her humor is so heavily reliant on cussing, gross out, very crude type humor. Put her on a DreamWorks project with her art style. That would be really interesting to see. But I respect her massively. I mean, she's got so many amazing original projects, and I think she single-handedly may be responsible for making furry mainstream. I don't think the furries give her enough credit. I think what she did with Helva and Luna and all of her characters kind of put furries in a much more mainstream place than they were even 10 years ago. What else we got here? Supersonic Juju, I think she's doing one with Warner Brothers. Could it be like that dinosaur movie? Okay, so I'm out of the loop. She is making a dinosaur movie, and is that like a family film? Theatrical? Or is that like a straight-to-streaming thing? Is it like that, what was that Gendy movie with the dogs? That was a very interesting film. Luciano says, 1 week for Coyote v. Acme. Yes, I may see it, actually. It looks pretty interesting. I like when they do the Roger Rabbit hybrid stuff. Except for that Rescue Rangers movie. That one was so disappointing. Oh, my God. So I may go see it. And I know it had a lot of trouble with, being canceled and all that. So I'm just happy it's seeing some form of release, right? Better now than never. Kunis says, this is random, but I was watching the show Toy Hunter with Jordan Hembrough for a while, and I saw a very young version of you buying a Mego Micronaut with your dad. Wow, that is a Austin the Brimstone deep lore right there. Yes, I am on an episode of The Toy Hunter, a show that filmed people hunting for toys. I was at WonderCon. I was very young at the time. I think I might have been like 10 or 11. I was getting into toy collecting, and they saw me buying some vintage toys, and they were like, wow, they talked to me. They're like, you're pretty knowledgeable for a kid your age. And I'm like, yeah, I know my stuff when it comes to vintage toys. So they're like, we're going to film you buying this one and put it on the show. And funny story with that one is Lou Ferrigno was at the same booth shopping with me. He was buying some old Hulk toys. And off camera, he almost destroyed that toy, the one I bought, the Micronaut. He had a big heavy box of figures, and he slammed his hands on the table. He almost smashed that valuable figure to pieces. It was terrifying, but also hilarious. That is a great memory right there. Thank you for reminding me of that a long time ago. You're the craziest Shrek fan I've ever seen. Says Nasty Nosuk. Yeah, well, I am crazy. I will not deny that. I am completely crazy. What else? Would you count 2010 as a retro year? I would, actually, because it was 16 next year, 17 years ago. I mean, we're further out from 2010. Are we as far out from 2010 as Star Wars was from the special editions? That's what I always kind of use as a barometer for vintage, is when the Star Wars special editions were re-released in the 90s. That's when toy collecting really came into its own, and they started calling the vintage Star Wars action figures vintage, They weren't just the Star Wars toys, they were the vintage Star Wars toys. So that's kind of what I use. But, vintage is always, it's always difficult to figure out what's vintage. Like, I remember playing Super Smash Bros. Back in the day, and we used to call Nintendo 64 characters vintage, or Nintendo 64 references and levels vintage. But that would have been like, 2005, 6 for Melee, so that would have been like only 7 years out removed from the N64. I mean, that's weird to think about. The gap of time between the N64 and Smash Brothers feels a lot longer than it actually was. Are you sad about Figment 2, says Rihanna? Oh, I don't know if I'm sad. I mean, he's coming back, right? I saw a little bit of that panel. It sounded like they were bringing Figment back. I don't know, did I miss something? I went in the Imagineering section at D23. They didn't have anything on Figment, but they did have a lot on the Encanto ride, which looks really amazing. And then I saw the new Cars Land model coming to Florida. And the Imagineers, they were all very friendly and cool. They would walk right up to you and ask you about what you think of the ride, look for, there's kind of focus testing, getting the vibes, but very friendly people, very friendly people. I Austin, 2010s felt like 5 years ago. Oh, I wish. To me, 2010 felt like a lifetime ago. I mean, for me, 2010 was 2 houses ago, and just a lifetime ago. Oh my goodness. I just revisited a swap meet, a flea market that I went to back in the 2010s, and I need a sip of water. Hang on a moment. Anyways, this flea market was like the hit place in 2010. It used to be so cool on a summer day, and it was all sad and derelict and abandoned now. And that was a pretty depressing experience. Stuff like that makes you feel old. There's a chance Shrek 6 and Zootopia 3 come out in the same year. There is. I hope the rumor for Zootopia 3 is 2030. Is that true? I don't know. I just read it on the internet. And not everything you read on the internet's true. There's some truth right there. There it is. Cheesy Stuff, did someone say Shrek? Hello, Cheesy Stuff. Welcome. We are finishing the Lego Shrek, hopefully. Ogre-sized candies and chocolate milk and peanut. Yeah, the Shrek M&Ms. I hope they bring those back. The ogre-sized M&Ms are very, very good. Those were great. Swampy and Pretty Mix-In Minis. Yeah, the mini M&Ms with the little dispensers they came with, those were awesome. I hope they go all out with candy and, fast food, all sorts of food products. I really hope it's like the good old days. Sometimes you just can't recapture the good old days, so we shall see. Sorry if I'm being annoying, I'm just sad he's my favorite character, Rihanna. No, it's all good, I know you're a big Figment head. Being a Californian, it's kind of hard to, whip up some passion for Figment, because I didn't know who Figment was until, I watched some YouTube video essays. He just has no presence in California at the Disneyland parks. There is no Figment to be found. Same goes for that orange board. I don't even know his name, but, that's a big character in Florida. Here in California, nothing. That character never existed. I'll be disappointed if Shrek won't be popping out of the fridge when Shrek 5 releases. Shrek Forever After should have been Shrek the Third, and the film's just Merlin eating rock granite. Oh, no, I don't like the scene of Merlin eating the rock, in the bowl. he shows his teeth and they're all bloody. That scene always disgusted me as a kid. His name is literally Orange Board. Is that true? Curtis Wilson, is his name just Orange Board? Because that is really funny. I thought it was citrus something, but that would be hilarious. There we go, and then we're gonna go like that. No, wait. Nope. Maybe I put the wrong piece there. What? What am I missing? Hang on. Okay. That. I missed some underneath portion at some point. Deep Sea Beast, another great video from Far, Far Away. Hope all is well, my friend. Thank you. Go check out his videos. He does, also another broker making DreamWorks collecting videos, and they're very good. I really enjoyed the Turbo one. Turbo, man, that's an underrated gem. When anyone talks about Turbo, you get my massive respect. Man, where did I go wrong again? How does this keep happening to me? I just don't get it. I'm gonna have to go all the way back. I love Turbo Rihanna. Yes, Turbo, it has its moments. My thoughts that Shrek 5 happens the same time after Last Wish and 13 to 15 years later after Shrek Forever After. Maybe. Star Frog Stuff. I have the same set and I love it. It's pricey but so worth it. Yeah, I think I paid $130 at Walmart for this set. But it's going to be awesome when it's done. This is Shrek's foot I'm making. Z Shrek's foot. Except I'm building it wrong, so we have to start over. Cheesy Stuff. I very much enjoyed building this set, but it accidentally reminded me that I used to have the FNAF sets that I have, and they're super expensive. Oh, the old McFarlane FNAF sets. Are those expensive now? Really? Dang. I feel like everything is expensive now. Everything's going up in the collector world. I was just talking with Marcus from Comfort Cartoons about Ben 10. I had no idea that Ben 10 was like really expensive now. You can't find any of those figures. It's just like one day you wake up and boom, it's super expensive. Okay, I didn't mess up there. I see the mistake. It wants you to flip it over and then build the... Oh, that is really confusing. That is really confusing. Who would have guessed that you would have to flip it from here to here? I know it's got this little icon. But when you flip it, it looks the same, and they built the same thing on top. Boy, that is confusing. That is very confusing. Do you think Five Below Shrek stuff will ever become rare, or says simply fantastic? Yes, it's made in very low production runs. I've already noticed that the little hand sanitizers, they're going for like $30 now on eBay. Nick Wilde is hot, says Rihanna. I mean, what's his name? Oh my god, my brain's slipping. Jason Bateman, right? I mean, he's a heartthrob. Hi Austin, been a fan of the channel for a few years. Just want to say I watch your videos every night. Keep up the great work. Can I get a shout out for my account, Wizards Lair Collectibles? Well, I just said it, Wizards Lair Collectibles. Thank you. Glad I help you at night. I got the insomnia, so I get it. I got YouTubers that help me stay up too, right? Yes, I'm a fully law, Rihanna. Well, there'd be a Scaly, right? If you like Figment, because Figment's a dragon. Saving my money for Shrek Lego Shrek mystery boxes, I have 60 shillings saved up. 60 shillings for the possessed Legos. Yeah, those are creeping up on me. I forgot those are coming out, like, in just a matter of days, so I have that to do, too. Thinking right now, like, if I want to make them a full video, if I want to do another live. We kind of have a good thing going right now with these Lego lives. They're pretty fun. Should I stick to just, like, keeping Lego as live? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. The really cheesy stuff says they're really expensive. Like, the really small ones can be over $100. At least the Shrek stuff is far more accurate than those sets. Maybe some small chance they can return. I can dream. Yeah, I think it'd be more likely that Lego themselves now would make it, because I don't think McFarlane is doing fake Lego sets anymore. I think those days are gone, unfortunately. A shame, because I really enjoyed the McFarlane Legos, because they also did, like, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and they were doing, like, adult Lego stuff before Lego themselves were getting into it. They were very complicated sets. Well done. Very well done from Todd. You know, if he had done Shrek sets in that style, that would have been peak. 60 shillings for the possessed Lego Pinocchio figure, right? Thank you, Daryl. Hellboy or flushed away? That is an odd question. It's a very odd question. I guess flushed away, right? Come on, Hugh Jackman. As a British rat, what's not to love? Where is this piece? Take a sip every time I say, where is this piece? Worst drinking game ever. You'll die. Okay. That? Yes. Okay. Does this look like Shrek's foot, guys? Am I doing this right? That looks like Shrek's foot, right? Right? Do you like Brad Bird's The Iron Giant? Yes. That's a classic. That's a classic. Didn't do well in the box office, but you know, it found life on home video. There we go. Okay, wait. We just attached, the foot bone is attached to the body bone. There we go. He's hopping mad. We have a 1 foot Shrek. Deep Sea says, bro, wife and I at a random debate need your help. Shrek or Sully in an arm wrestling contest? Well, Sullivan is the #1 scarer, and I don't think you'd ever want to get in a fight with John Goodman. So, although my bias wants to pick Shrek, because, you know, Shrek's pretty ferocious himself, I actually think Sully could probably be the only person ever that could take down Shrek in the whole multiverse. Because, you know, James P. Sullivan was a scaler like nothing else. That's what always made Sully a great character. It's like, he's so unbelievably powerful, you know, but he's also so nice that he doesn't really have a need to use force like that. But yeah, dude could have taken down Waternoose. If he didn't respect him so much. I always found the relationship between Sullivan and Waternoose very tragic. Because, you know, he respected him as his boss, and he was corrupt. You know, it do be like that sometimes. I'm going to investigate Shrek's strength and fighting moves now. Well, don't use the video games as reference, because Shrek is always way off. Sometimes they make Shrek, like, really underpowered, like in the Shrek 2 game, or like the Shrek 1 movie game where he runs super fast. He runs at, like, sonic speed for some random reason. Shrek is not a much speed game. I can tell you that for sure. Favorite Shrek villain, says Rye Wheelor. Well, that's a tough question. I think Lord Farquaad is probably the funniest villain Shrek had. I think his lines are a lot better than Charming's, but I still do love Charming as a character. I think Rupert Everett, there we go, his performance as Charming is unmatched. I mean, he's just perfectly cast for the role. But then you have Death from Puss in Boots' Last Wish, who's like one of my all-time favorite animation villains. So, I don't know, that is a tough question. I don't know if I can answer that. I'd have to think about that. Maybe that'd be a full video sometime on who's the best Shrek villain. Do you think you'd be my friend if I got social media? I mean, you're all friends by being here in the chat. We are the Brogos. Just being here means you're my friend, and I thank you. Thank you so much. I need a sip. I have my strawberry juice here. Shrek's still surprisingly agile, even if he's not that fast. That's right, the Potion Factory escape, and also Forever After, when he's outrunning the witches in the village. Remember he turns one of the roof pieces into like a snowboard, and he's like skating all around the buildings. That's a pretty agile Shrek, so maybe Shrek's more agile than I give him credit for, you know? He probably could outflank Sully, but I don't know. In arm wrestling, Sully would definitely beat Shrek. And just like that, the Leodogo is making an official social media account. All friends here. Yeah, I mean, you should be on Instagram. Instagram's where a lot of the cool Shrek people are. Everyone's always posting such neat Shrek stuff there. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that existed. And I didn't know that existed either. That's how I learned about new Shrek stuff, is just browsing Instagram. Some very knowledgeable people there. Nope, not that one. Oh, there we go. Have you ever heard of Shrek? It's a great movie. Really? This movie called, you said Shrek? Is it called Shrek? It's from that new DreamWorks studio, you know? The studio that made Saving Private Ryan. They're trying to make, like, kids' movies. Psh, it'll never work. It'll never work. Nobody can beat the House of Mouse. There we go. Second foot is coming together. Slowly but surely. Thanks for the help, man. Have you seen the new Odyssey film? It's fantastic. No, I haven't seen the Odyssey. I don't know. I see that 3-hour runtime. It discourages me from going. I do not like long movies. That's why I love animated movies so much. They usually don't go over 90 minutes. Although Forgotten Island is going to be DreamWorks' first 2-hour movie. Don't know how to feel about that. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. We'll have to watch the movie and find out. What are your favorite live-action DreamWorks movies? Well, I think Small Soldiers is pretty good. I would say my favorite live-action DreamWorks movie is Galaxy Quest. It's a Star Trek parody, and it's very clever and neat. It's like, what if the Star Trek was real, and the actors from Star Trek had to actually save the world from aliens? It's very fun. It's a classic. I only watch animated stuff, lol, says Rihanna. Yep, same here. I follow pretty much all animation. It is interesting that Shrek's Scottish accent is the same one Mike Miles uses for his fat character. Can I say his name here? Yeah, just say what the action figure says. This is Fat Man, right? That's what the toy says. It also comes from a movie called So I Married an Axe Murderer. He uses the same accent as well. There we go. Do you follow anime? I used to. I used to be all in on anime. There was a point where I was watching all the latest. I was very into, I'm going to date myself here. I was very into Attack on Titan. I was very into Hetalia. And then I had a friend message me one night and say, do you know what I think it was called a simulcast, where you watch it live in Japan? He said there's a new show airing on Japan. It's not dubbed yet, but it's pretty cool. It's supposed to be about superheroes. And I ended up watching My Hero Academia the night it premiered. on Japanese TV. And this is before anyone knew what it was. And I would tell people, like, if you order the show, it's like My Hero Academia. It's really cool. And nobody knew what I was talking about. It took like another 2 years for that show to catch on. And I watched that. I enjoyed My Hero a lot. I think it ended now. I feel like it went on way too long. Isn't that the problem with a lot of these animes? They just go on forever and forever. And it's like, oh my god. Just end the darn thing already. Cheesy stuff. Honestly, I think more animated movies should be longer. Some are way too fast. I feel like Shrek 4 could have been 2 hours. Yeah, Shrek 4's got a lot on its plate. I forget, like, when I watch it, that by the time we're introduced to the Ogre Camp and the alternate version of Fiona, the movie's already, like, in the last 45 minutes. It's like, oh, we're just getting started with the story here. Things are just getting interesting, and we already have to leave this interesting alternate world far, far away. Yeah, Forever After would have benefited a lot from a 2-hour runtime. A lot. Where does, is that right? Oh, okay, yeah, it is. But the piece isn't... Did I lose another piece? Please, no. Please, no. How did I lose another piece? How did this happen? How did this happen? I don't understand where that piece went. It's like it's not even here. What the heck? Okay. Little break here, we'll have a sip. Cars being a 2-hour long movie is insane. Yeah, you don't feel it because the pacing of the original, the first Cars, is really good. That film has a tight script. I just rewatched the original Cars, funnily enough, and I was reminded of just, like, how great of a script that movie has. I'm like, oh, this is a great film. For a while, people just kind of dogged on it as, like, the weakest Pixar film, and I'm like, I don't know why. Cars is great. I guess that's what happens when your competition is The Incredibles and Ratatouille, right? Pixar was just on a generational run in the early 2000s. Cars is getting a re-release in September, in theaters on September 4th? Really? He did what in his cup? Yeah, that's a great line from Larry the Cable Guy. So, unfortunately, I have a piece missing. It's the second piece of Shrek's boot right here. And it's not here. Like, I'm looking all around, and it's not under the table. We'll check inside the bags one more time. This is like the last chance, is this bag here. Nope. It is not here. So I'm going to have to continue. We're missing one part of Shrek's foot. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Cars 2 doesn't help the original film's reputation either. Yeah, and it came out in 2011. And by that point, there hadn't really been a bad Pixar movie. Everything they made was considered Oscar-worthy. So that film really was a big hit for Pixar because people were like, oh my god, you know, not every Pixar film is amazing, what the heck? But I think even Cars 2's reputation has kind of softened over the years because Pixar has released films that, you know, are not that great. I didn't particularly care for Finding Dory. Good Dinosaur. I mean, that outright flopped at the box office. Yeah, it's not, the reputation is not as shiny as it used to be. They went up for Best Picture nominee, Toy Story 3 to Cars 2. Yeah, you're right, it was less than a year after Toy Story 3. That was rough. That was very rough. They should have done it like a double release year. They should have saved Cars 2 and released that a year. They had something more prestigious to prop alongside it, like, say, Inside Out, or, you know... Oh no, 2 of these... Am I missing a bag? I don't understand. How did I lose so many pieces? Did bag 9 get opened at some point? This just doesn't seem right. I feel like I'm missing way too many pieces. Nope, that's all bag 8. We're just missing pieces. I'm gonna get up here. Excuse me. Slide my beanbag chair. Yeah, because, like, you know, I keep this area very neat. There's, like, nothing here. And I don't know where those pieces could have gone. I opened the bag on the table. And if they had fallen off, they'd be like near my work area. But they're not here. Okay, so we're missing pieces. So we're going to see what this looks like without these pieces. Oh, well. Good Dinosaur was awesome. Sad it flopped, Rihanna. Yeah, my mom saw a test screening of it. I didn't go with her. I think I had something to do that day. But she saw it. She's like, this new movie's amazing. She's like, it's going to be the next big Pixar movie. And I'm like, okay. Then it came out, and it didn't do well. They need to make Lego Ice Age sets. You know, they actually did off-brand Legos for Ice Age. I put together a scratch set on the channel a long time ago. It was a YouTube short. For some reason, it's getting like a bunch of views now. Like a 4-year-old video of me building a Lego Ice Age set is getting all these hits. Guess there's a lot of demand for Lego Ice Age. Maybe Lego should take a tip. That, and then this. Now what mistake did I make? That doesn't... Oh, okay. Like that. And then this piece goes there, okay? Now, 2 of these. Okay? And 4 of these little ones. Alright? And then that will go on Shrek. So there's Shrek, and as you can see, I'm missing a huge chunk of his belt here. Like, just a massive piece. A very critical piece in the build is not here. So that's going to make the set look very incomplete, unfortunately. So hopefully there's an extra one of those in another bag. If not, the set's going to be in some trouble here. But we'll see. The first videos of yours I watched was the one about Hubbubs years ago. Yes, that was a toy my mom grew up with. She thought it would look really good in the Critter Town, because I was still doing all the Calico Critters videos at that point. That was fun. That was a fun unboxing. Thank you for sticking around, because, I mean, that's an ancient video. That's from the prehistoric days. It's a Shrek-so-skeleton. Yeah, it is frog stuff, isn't it? Shrek looking kind of like Krang. Yeah, he's got this pink inside. I think those are supposed to be like his guts. You can see that he's eaten an onion and an eyeball. A weird feature, but a fun one nonetheless. With Hayden, yeah, Hayden died. She was best known for Heroes and Scream. I knew her as she was Kylie in the Kingdom Hearts games. And then also, she's Kate, the main wolf in Alpha and Omega. She will be sorely missed. Very tragic. Okay, now it's time. So this is going to go in a little pile so don't miss anything. And then Shrek is going to go on his base. Here we go. You're welcome. It's fun to see how the channel has grown. Yes, it has. We've created a ogre community. It's fantastic. Look at that. It's coming together. I'm thinking about making a YouTube video and showing my Figment collection. Should I, Rihanna? Yes, you should. I always tell people, like, YouTube is a gift. It can be a frustrating platform, but it's also a gift. There's never been a better time to share your collection. And if you have a special interest, you know, like I do with Shrek, this is a gift for people like us. It provides us an outlet to share these amazing collections with the world and build a community. It's really awesome. Really awesome. Would you want a Shrek 5 x 7-Eleven collab? Yeah, I'd love to see it. 7-Eleven did a Shrek 2 collab back in the day, so it seems to only make sense that they would return, right? And I'm never going to turn down an excuse to go to 7-Eleven because I love their coffee so much. Now, I can down a 7-Eleven coffee, trust me. Claw goes there. Okay. Oh, I see. So the claw is actually... This little piece is like a robot claw, but they're using it in the set as the what is it called? The string that ties his tunic together. There we go. Okay. There we are. Leonardo goes to Simpsons movie 2 hype. Yes. Curtis Wilson, for me it's Asperger's, and I lose it when people say special interest and not obsession. I have Asperger's too. I was diagnosed with Asperger's back in high school. It explained a lot. It certainly explained a lot. Clear piece. Okay. This clear piece is gonna be where Puss in Boots is attached to Shrek because the Puss in Boots minifigure rides his shoulder like he does in Shrek 2. Fan theory: Shrek and Trolls are both books on some shelf. Trolls was a scrapbook, and Shrek opens the book. Just saying. It's true, Deep Sea Beast. That's true. Destiny says, loved your new video. Makes me want to go to D23 next year. I wonder if DreamWorks could have a dedicated expo. They could. They really, really could. Disney, they have so much IP, but at the same time, I feel like they're really stretching, especially when it comes to 2000s nostalgia. They're marketing the heck now out of Treasure Planet and Atlantis. They're really trying to push those 2000s movies because that's where the nostalgia is. But the reality is that Disney didn't have as strong of a 2000s as DreamWorks did. DreamWorks ruled the 2000s, so I think the time is absolutely right for a DreamWorks convention. It would probably be Universal proper, since they own DreamWorks. And Universal owns so many properties that you could fold Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Jaws, all those movies into the mix. And make it like a big Universal convention. Why the heck not? You should watch Ratchet and Clank. It's great. You know, I've actually never seen the Ratchet and Clank movie. Is it good? Simply Fantastic says DreamWorks plus Illumination Universal Con. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's absolutely what it should be. Absolutely. Dude, I really think Chicken Little is underrated. Not enough people talk about it. I watched Chicken Little a lot as a kid. I thought it was okay. I always thought it was kind of a mediocre film, but I know it's got its fans out there. Okay, so now there's wow. Look at this piece. This is a weird piece. Why do you think when do you think 2020's nostalgia will kick in? I don't know. Never. I mean, it will happen, but it'll be very different. I think the 2020s was a rough decade for a lot of people. So I don't know if it'll be remembered as fondly. I think it'll be like 70s nostalgia. Because 70s nostalgia was a thing in the 90s. There was that 70s show. There was one of my favorites, the Goofy movie, the second one. The Goofy movie 2 is like all 70s nostalgia. Like disco, oil shortages, inflation. Like the 70s was a rough decade, but it did have nostalgia. The culmination of 70s nostalgia was Star Wars. It was Star Wars towards the end of the 90s. So, yeah, there will be 2020s nostalgia. I don't think it'll be as pronounced as 90s, 80s, and 2000s nostalgia. Just because those were just, you know, they're just better decades. You know, I hate to be biased because, like, I grew up in the 2000s, but, yeah, we had a better decade. I think 2010s nostalgia will be a big thing. I do. I think 2010s will have a lot of nostalgia. Seeing people nostalgic for Hotel Transylvania makes me feel old. I know, right? That was already like 14 years old now. It's crazy. Curtis Wilson, I'm an Aspie too. I knew that's why I loved your channel. Yeah, trust me. Oh yeah, it's from Rihanna. Thank you, Rihanna. Yeah, look at this. Only with Asperger's do you have this, right? Now, a lot of people out there who watch the channel have, autism and special interests, and a lot of people have said they've kind of viewed the channel as like a haven, and that is an incredible honor to have, because I was a kid in school that struggled immensely to make friends, to find people that understood me and had special interests. I kind of feel like Donkey, I actually don't have any friends. Like, I had nobody in school, nobody, but that's one of the wonderful things about the internet. A lot of people will say the internet sucks, and, in many ways it does, but in many ways it can be a great thing. And the internet has allowed me to have a full social life that I probably wouldn't have had if it wasn't for the internet. So take that for what you will. 2010's obsession with the 80s needs to be studied. Yeah, it was crazy, man. It's almost like its own aesthetic that's going to have its own nostalgia. Imagine nostalgia for 2010's version of 80s. Because the 2010's nostalgia for the 80s wasn't actually the 80s. It was like this fake Stranger Things, retro, everything was like purple and blue, that Miami Vice aesthetic, and that's like nothing what the 80s were actually like. I love the community here as someone who is seen as weird at times. Oh yeah, tell me about it, Leo Dogo. Most people judge me because of my Figment special interest, but not you and another friend I made on the internet, so thank you. Well, I'm happy to be here, Rihanna. Would you get the animated Shrek bag? Sure, why the heck not if the price is right? Possum Checos, see, I'm diagnosed, but I'm the same way. The doctor that diagnosed me basically said he believes I may have ASD even though he didn't properly test me. I mean, For years, people said I had it, and I felt like I didn't need to get diagnosed, but it definitely helps, like, to know it officially. It was kind of like a closing of the book for me, when they officially diagnosed me. I was like, yeah, it feels like this has been a long time coming. Just feels like, wrapping things up in a way. Now I officially know, right? I included an Austin the Brimstone reference in my next novel. Is that allowed? Oh, heck yeah, absolutely. Reference me all you want. What am I gonna do? Go after you for licensing? Like, no. It's reference me all the heck you want. The fact you even think to reference me is very kind. Very kind. Oh wait, am I making another mistake? Yes. There we go. 2010 stories are already going through a bit of a boom. Monster High prices are crazy right now. True, Monster High is a big 2010s thing. Huge. And I went to Hot Topic the other day, and they had faded t-shirts of Dorpy and DJ Pony from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Like, the hub. That's hub nostalgia. I'm like, whoa. My Little Pony and the Bronies are like nostalgia now? That's crazy. That's just crazy. Starfrog. I'm not autistic, but I admire the passion. I love Puss in Boots so deeply, and I think it's cool to see other people's special interests and learn about them. You're so cool. Thank you. I appreciate that very much so. As Shrek says, they judge me before they even know me. Yeah, glad I found my swampy community. That's the truth right there, ain't it? My life in a nutshell. Okay, we're gonna flip it over again. That's where I get lost, is when they tell you to flip the pieces over. Okay, and then this goes there. Okay, and then we have that, and then, wait, that is not right. No. Okay, there. Oh my god, all these beige colored pieces. Like, I'm losing my mind. They all look the same. How am I supposed to put this together? Okay, there we go. No? Yes? No? What? Okay, now we're flipping it over again. Wait. Of course, this one won't stay on. These bricks sometimes feel like Mega Bloks pieces with how much they don't stay on. Anybody who trying to put together Mega Block sets in the 2000s? Okay, then we're gonna flip it here, and then there. Okay. Have you seen the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer? Yes, I did. It looks neat. The Coco animation looked just like the movie. Leo Dogo says, yes, I went to Hot Topic. I really got into collecting Coraline. Yeah, that's 2009, so I guess that is 2000 nostalgia. But that's almost 2010s nostalgia. I feel like the tail end of 2000s nostalgia is like Coraline, Megamind, How to Train Your Dragon. Because I've seen a lot of that lately, and that's like the tail end of the 2000s. Kind of like how, Batman 89 is like the tail end of 80s nostalgia, right? The last thing of the decade. Do you know Michael Goh? Yeah, Michael Goh is, he voices Shrek in everything that Mike Myers is not in. He's like Mike Myers' official stand-in. I've never met Michael Goh, though. I would love to, if the opportunity ever came. I keep almost making it to these animation cons with tons of voice actors, and then something will happen and I can't go. Recently, The Move got in the way of things. I was this close to meeting Don Bluth. So close. Like, it almost happened. And the day I was supposed to meet Don was the day my house closed. I had to be here to make sure the house closed. So I picked a house over Don Bluth. That's how it is sometimes in life. Nope, this is not right. What am I doing wrong? Okay. That. I built this all wrong. Do you think Don Bluth will ever make another movie? I mean, he's getting up there in age. I don't know. Time is kind of ticking for Mr. Bluth, but he's anything but lazy. He's always working. So maybe. I know he's wanted to do a Dragon Slayer movie. There's been a lot of talk about Ryan Gosling as Dork the Daring. But with how huge Ryan Gosling has become now, I think he might be priced out of that movie. I don't think it's going to happen. What the heck? I don't get this part. That's what I keep saying this whole video, right? This set is not for me because it's so complicated. Okay. Here and here. We need like a supercut at the end of all the times Austin made a mistake or lost a piece. It wouldn't even be a supercut. It'd just be the whole video. What? Okay, I'm completely lost. Wait, so that goes there. Yes. And then this went here. Okay. And then this here. Okay, now I know where I am. Oh my goodness. Alright. This is tough. This is very tough. Of course, now I'm missing a piece once again. There it is. Okay. There we go. And then there. Okay, where's this piece? Oh, Lord. Okay, there's that piece. Alright. What else we got here? What else? Since you're a Crash fan, I feel like I should ask this. If you were in charge of a Crash Bandicoot animated series, what would you do? First thing I'm going to do is keep Crash mute. He talks in the Netflix, not the Netflix series, but there's a Spyro Netflix cartoon, and Crash is in that, and he talks, and he speaks with an Australian accent, and it's very weird. I would keep Crash silent, and I would make it very, like, Looney Tunes-esque with the slapstick. Crash's dialogue could be delivered through signs, like Wile E. Coyote, and then also through Coco, like in the games. I don't know, I feel like whenever Crash speaks, that's when Crash Bandicoot, like, loses the plot. Deep Sea Beast, did you ever watch Billy and Mandy? Yeah, during Halloween time, I would always watch it on Cartoon Network. I used to be obsessed with Fred Fredburger as a kid. I thought he was so funny. Simply fantastic. I keep wondering what Austin the Brimstone would look like in the 90s, Disney or Don Bluth art style. I probably would have been Don Bluth obsessed. I often joke that in another world, I had this type of collection, but with Don Bluth. But there just isn't enough to collect. If they made tons of toys and figures of Secret of Nim and All Dogs Go to Heaven, I would have them all, and it would be crazy. Because I love the Don Bluth movies, but there was not a lot to buy. Not a whole lot. Crash basically says, whoa. Like, yeah, just keep it to, like, whoa! And then also his, like, you know, screams when he dies. You'd have to have a way to have, like, Crash die a lot in the show, because that's the funny part of the games, all the death animations. Honestly, Crash is difficult to translate into other media. So much of Crash's identity is the games themselves, how difficult the games are, and then, like, you know, the hilarity of dying and losing a bunch, and then figuring out how to get past the segment. That's at least the joy I get from the Crash games. They're very difficult games, but I still really enjoy them. And I played through the Insane Trilogy, Crash 4, Crash Team Racing. They're all fantastic games. Crash is Spyro in Fortnite. Crash is weird looking, but he's in it. You're right. I think it's Sugla Wilet. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Yeah, he looks a little funky, but it's still Crash, so I gotta buy it. It's Crash. I'm not gonna complain. It's Crash. Crash is looking like a Looney Tune. Yeah. I would love to see Crash designed by Seth Kearsley, the guy that did the 2010 Looney Tunes reboot. Him doing Crash would be, like, amazing. Deep Sea Beast says All Dogs has very little but few things. Land for Time is loaded. Yeah, there's a lot of Land for Time. You know, I never really cared much for Land for Time. I get it for what it is. You know, fun little dinosaur movies. But yeah, All Dogs is definitely my favorite of the Bluth films. And, yeah, there's some figures. I have some of the Wendy's figures that they made over the years. But, like, no modern action figures. I would love to see somebody like Mondo make All Dogs Go to Heaven. They've also never made a figure of any kind of the Whippet Angel. The one BB Newolf plays. I would love to have her as a figure, because I always really liked that character. Especially the Hellhound. She's kind of like the precursor to Luna from Hell of a Boss. She was like the first animated Hellhound. Now what mistake did I make? Okay, no, there's no mistake here. It's just like that. Okay. Boy, this is confusing. Didn't they want to make a live-action Nim movie once? Yeah, before the Disney-Fox merger happened, Fox was going to do a lot with Nim. They were going to do a gritty live-action Nim, and I believe it was supposed to be the same VFX team as G-Force, the hamster movie from Jerry Bruckheimer. So if you want to know what that would have looked like, go watch G-Force, and you would have seen what a 2000s Nim would have been. And that would have been called Rats of Nim. They had the license to, I believe, the book, Miss Frisbee and the Rats of Nim, but not the movie, Miss Brisby and the Rats of Nim. There's a whole copyright thing going on with Secret of Nim. The book's very different from the movie, so it would have been more book-based. But it would have been interesting. Um, and then there were plans to have like a Hulu animated Secret of Nim reboot. This was a thing. It was going to be called like The Brisbees, and it was going to be like an adult animated Secret of Nim sitcom, like a Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane, Mrs. Brisby show. I don't know if that would have been the worst thing ever or the greatest thing ever. We'll never know because we never heard about it. But that I would have loved to have seen what that would have looked like. G-Force was an interesting movie. Yeah, I would love to do a video on G-Force toys. They're expensive, though. But one day I want to buy those. I think it'd be funny. Deep Sea Beast, if there was an Austin the Brimstone action figure, what accessories and what gimmick would you like? Would you imagine as a stylized figure or realistic? I'd have to go with, like, Black Series Marvel Legends, fully articulated. And I'd come with a little Shrek and Donkey figure to collect. My favorite Don Bluth is Ice Age. Yeah, Don Bluth worked on Ice Age. Only doing the very early stuff, but he did work on it. Have you met Jerry Bruckheimer? You talk about him a lot on the channel. No, I just watch a lot of Jerry Bruckheimer movies. I was a big Pirates of the Caribbean fan in the 2000s. And then also, what else did he make? The Rock, right? I've seen that one. Con Air. I don't know. I've just seen a lot of Jerry Bruckheimer films for some odd reason. I don't particularly know why. I don't, like, love Jerry Bruckheimer. I just happen to see a lot of his movies. Okay, that's what step I was on. And then this is... Okay, we're almost done with Shrek's hand. This is very exciting. Very exciting. There we go. There's other cameos in... Oh, wait, I lost track of that one. We'll start from the top here. It's cheesy stuff. Shrek for this, Shrek for that. We need Shrek and Smash Brothers. If only they allowed film characters. And those Brawlhalla. Yeah, Shrek was added to Brawlhalla recently, but proper Smash Brothers would be great. Skylanders mentioned. Yeah, we'll do for Skylanders nostalgia. It's gonna happen. I drew Austin as a flushed away character. Oh, I'd love to see that. Put it in the community tab. I will check that out. Supersonic, there's other cameos in Skylanders Academy, like the Aladdin carpet, I think. Really? It was an interesting show. I watched quite a few episodes of it. It wasn't terrible. Shotgun Justice. I always think Wheelback, a dinosaur movie, is a Don Bluth movie, but it's not. No, it's Amblimation, which was Spielberg's studio that was an offshoot of American Tail. So it does have Don Bluth connections. A lot of people that animated on Wheelback, a Dinosaur Story animated on Don Bluth movies. But it's not like Don Bluth himself. He wasn't involved with that. Great stream, man. I appreciate you having me on to be a part of it, the community, and to call your friends. Stay awesome, my friend. Deep Sea Beast, a very kind message. Thank you so, so much. You are awesome. Your videos are goated, I swear. Very good. Do you have any Pirates memories from the 2000s? Yeah, I bought a lot of the Mega Bloks sets, and that's why I was complaining about Mega Bloks earlier, because the sets never went together. They were always so frustrating. You knew when you got a Mega Block set versus a Lego set. But now, now bootleg Lego sets are like, you know, barely separable from the real thing. They're really good. Okay, we're attaching Shrek's arm and hand. Yeah, okay. So, look at that. And then we're going to attach it to Shrek here. If the opportunity comes around, you should commission a 3D model to make an action figure of you. Yeah. I mean, it'd be expensive, but it'd be cool. Austin is secretly Rodney from Flushed Away. I don't know. I don't think I'm British enough. Right, there we go. Also, that gray piece on Shrek's hand was part of Donkey. And his hand doesn't come detached. So they're stuck like that. You're not going to be able to take Shrek and Donkey off and pose them, even though they have all the articulation that they should be removable. It's just really bad design and construction. That doesn't make any sense. What are your favorite animated movies, like 3D movies, hand-drawn, etc., from the layout Ogre? Well, you know, I'm going to go for all of the DreamWorks movies. But for non-DreamWorks, I think my favorite 2D movie ever made is Cats Don't Dance. I love Cats Don't Dance. That movie is perfect. Will you build the Shrek minifigures on stream? Maybe. Maybe. I'm thinking about it. Do you guys want to see that? Do you want to see me open all the minifigures live? Let me know. It would definitely be a lot of fun. I'm really excited for those figures. Like, super, super excited. Did you ever have Playmobil back in the day? You know, honestly, I don't think so. You know what? I might have had a Christmas countdown one year One of the ones we got like Santa and all the little deals, but I was not like a huge Playmobil fan. I feel like you either had to pick like Lego or Playmobil, and I was a Lego kid through and through. I had a lot of Lego. Remember Tarzan? I do remember Tarzan. You know who doesn't remember Tarzan? Disney. So I went to D23. Not a single piece of Tarzan merchandise at the entire convention. Absolutely nothing. And that's probably because Tarzan is still owned by Edgar Rice Burroughs, who Disney has to pay to make Tarzan merch, and they don't want to pay for that. I would like to see him make a stream and video. I have an Austin minifigure of himself. That'd be fun. I know you can go to like the Lego store. Got Disney on the mind. You go to the Lego store and make a minifigure of yourself. I should have done that when I was at Downtown Disney at the store, but man, that store was busy. There were just so many people in there. Do you have any Cats Don't Dance merch? I recently found out they have Subway toys. Yes, I have the Subway toys. They're really cool. Austin, are you much of a Wallace and Gromit fan? Yes, I enjoy Wallace and Gromit. I actually really like Curse of the Were-Rabbit. I think it's one of the most underrated DreamWorks movies. That film is awesome. I watch it every Halloween. It's great. Did you ever go to Downtown Disney during the 2000s? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I lived at Downtown Disney in the 2000s. Are you kidding? It was a really nice, cool mall if you lived in the area, and I was lucky enough to live down the street from it, and it had, hands down, the best movie theater in all of California. It is such a shame they bulldozed that beautiful AMC theater, because that was my go-to movie theater. They were so awesome, so friendly. They always had cool posters and giveaways, and I mean, after you saw the movie, you were in Downtown Disney, so you got to go look at the Disney store. It was a very cool mall. Very neat. Subway has some of the most underrated toys. Yeah. Can we get a video on Downtown Disney? I don't know. I generally just like try to cover merchandise and then anything Shrek related, obviously. It depends if I have a bunch of photos from Downtown Disney. I have to look through my old childhood photos. Maybe I do. Has anyone done like a nice Downtown Disney documentary? Is there like a Defunct Land on that? Because I'd watch it. I'd love to see somebody else's photos and video from that era, because I have so much nostalgia for that version of Downtown Disney. If you don't know, if you don't live in California, Downtown Disney was the shopping mall adjacent to Disneyland. It's still there, but it's very, very different. They bulldozed the whole thing a few years ago. It's almost unrecognizable compared to what it used to look like. Wait. I made another mistake. Hang on a second. My mom used to have a Disney store, and I remember being really cool. I still have my childhood ham piggy bank. Yeah. I remember the Disney store, too. I think closing those was a huge, huge mistake. And I think Disney is beginning to feel that now. They kind of terraformed box lunch into the Disney store. It's been very odd to watch. They just, like, swallowed the whole store and made it into the Disney store, too. Dumb Jake World, it's all coming together. Hello, Jake. Welcome, welcome. And nice Shrek emote. Thank you for being a super swampy supporter. Much, much appreciated. We're sharing old memories of Disneyland in the 2000s when Disney was very cool. I went to D23. It was very interesting. It was like going to Duloc. It really was. I have to rebuild this whole arm because I built it backwards. I don't know how this happened. I'm so bad at building Legos. This has been an educational experience in that Austin cannot build Legos. Okay, that goes there. And then this goes here. Let's turn around Shrek so you can see like how done that's looking. There we go. The thing is, there's not a lot of documentation on Downtown Disney besides a few videos. The AMC barely has any photos left of the inside. Really simply fantastic. Wow, that is heartbreaking. That does make me want to go through my old photos, because I probably do have some childhood photos of going to Downtown Disney. Another really cool place that's no longer there, Compass Books. Compass Books was a bookstore that only sold Disney books, and it was super neat. It had this, like, 2000s coffee house aesthetic, and you used to go in there, get a coffee, read some Disney books, one about, like, hidden Mickeys, back when that was, like, cool to find out what the hidden Mickeys were. Good times, good times. I like how they have little Disney store sections at Target. I miss the Disney stores. Yeah, so I just moved, and my Target has a Disney Store section. My previous one did not, which is very nice. So it's cool to have that. Jake says the Disney Store in my mall was eh. I bought some of the Disney Toy Box action figures from there. Those were cool. Yes, those were fantastic. I was really hoping they were going to make Zootopia, because I loved the Disney Infinity figures of Nick and Judy, and I thought they would have been perfect sculpts. All you do is you take those Disney Infinity sculpts, you upsize them, put some articulation, and bam, you would have had the ultimate Zootopia figures, but they didn't do that. What they also should have done, and maybe they did, I don't know, they should have taken all of the unproduced Disney Infinity figures and turned those into Toy Box figures. Right there, a Noble Steed, Lego Donkey looking real good. Yeah, look at that, Noble Steed Donkey. She called me a steed. I grew up going to Disneyland as well as California Adventure and Downtown Disney as a kid from the mid to late 2000s, says Disco Buddy. Yeah, it was a great time to be a fan of Disneyland. The parks were relatively cheap, the crowds were not too bad, and they were building some pretty cool stuff. The Disney Store in Rockville outlet still exists. They never closed down. So, some of the outlets stuck around. I was in Las Vegas, and they still had a Disney Store, and I was shocked to see it. It was just a lot of overflow merchandise from the parks that didn't sell, but it was still a Disney Store. I'm like, wow, this is like seeing a dinosaur, right? Like, what the heck? Jake says, Disney Toy Box was such a weird line. I love the style of those, even though I wasn't into Disney Infinity. Yeah, no, they looked really great. I saw they did a lot of Star Wars and Marvel, which is fine, but I was hoping they would do more Disney characters. It would have been really cool to have, like, you know, all of Pixar and Zootopia. I think they did some Toy Story ones. There was, like, one really nice gift set of Mickey and the gang, where you got Goofy, Donald, Pluto. And I want to say, to date, that's, like, the only way to get fully articulated, modern, 6-inch figures of Mickey, like Mickey and Friends, the classic Disney gang. I think that might be your only option. I should have bought that set when I saw it, but, you know, who would have figured the Disney stores would all close so suddenly? Like, they were just gone. I missed the pre-Marvel, pre-Star Wars era of Disney. That was true Disney. Yeah, it was. Going to D23 is interesting because they still use a lot of their legacy properties for merchandise, and Star Wars and Marvel's just kind of stuck there. They also had whole sections of the convention floor dedicated to Alien, King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, excuse me. And I'm like, why do they own all this stuff? It's just like, I don't know, just like the one big conglomerate now. The brand doesn't feel as cohesive as it should. Pinocchio says they should do a Disney Infinity, but DreamWorks. I mean, yeah, I would love that. Jake says they did Toy Story Incredibles and maybe Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, Jake, I would love to see a video on that. I would so watch that. You absolutely should talk about that, because I don't know. Did they do, like, Ratatouille, WALL-E? Did they get all the way to, like, Good Dinosaur? I genuinely don't know. Leon Ogle, anyone out there who makes DreamWorks mystery boxes? A lot of the new Shrek stuff they're making is blind box, so that kind of counts. The Shrek plushies from Hunter Leisure. I've counted 5 different sizes of the exact same size Shrek plush. Yeah, so the Hunter Leisure plush came in many different sizes. They were done for a theme park called Dreamworld in Australia. That plush line is really desirable. It's the only time we saw a lot of the other characters, like Rumpelstiltskin, Fiona as a warrior. They did the baby ogre triplets, but they were actually small, unlike the big Namco ones, so you could display them. Very desirable line of plush. They're really cool, though. They look amazing. Wilson Hyde says, I really miss Touchstone, speaking of Disney. It was more magical to have more mature original properties with that Disney magic. Yeah, and Hollywood Pictures as well was Disney. Going back to Jerry Bruckheimer, Con Air was a Disney movie. I don't think people realize that, but Con Air was a Disney film. Disney used to have all these labels they would use so that you didn't know that stuff they were making was Disney. Now it's all under the Disney umbrella, which is really awkward, because, like, you'll go to the Disney Con, and they'll have, like, Alien and Predator next to DuckTales, like they had at the NECA booth. It was DuckTales, there was, it was DuckTales, and then Alien and Predator in the same case, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. This is very odd to see all this branded together as Disney. Like Roger Rabbit and Oh Brother Arthur. Oh yeah, Oh Brother Arthur. That's a great film. That's the Odyssey, right? Disney made the Odyssey before the Odyssey, hillbilly version of the Odyssey with a great soundtrack. Um, there we go. Um, what else? What else? What are your thoughts on Big Jack Horner? Big Jack Horner is what's that guy's name? What's that comedian's name? It's slipping. John Mulaney. That's John Mulaney's best role. Is him as Big Jack Horner. John Mulaney was cast much better as Big Jack Horner than he was as Dale for Rescue Rangers. That was just horrible miscasting right there. Leo Dogo, I forgot to mention this. I regret not taking any pictures in my city, but they had a back to school event and they had a Shrek theme. Awesome. Pinocchio fans is a massive Flushed Away fan, like you're a Shrek fan. Flushed Away it's an underrated movie. It has its moments. It's fun. Simply fantastic. What Shrek character actor has the best filmography? That is a tough question. I mean, I absolutely adore the Austin Powers trilogy. Probably my favorite live-action trilogy ever. So I'm kind of leaning on Mike Myers, but there's no question about it. Eddie Murphy is the best. Eddie Murphy is a god among actors. I cannot think of any other actor in the world that has a better catalog of movies than Eddie Murphy. Turn on any Eddie Murphy movie, they will all make you laugh. They're all good. Even Pluto Nash. Even Pluto Nash has its moments. Eddie Murphy is the GOAT. The absolute GOAT. Ever thought of making a video of the McFarlane Beatles Yellow Submarine? No, I don't really know much about the Beatles, I'll be honest. I saw the Nutty Professional at AMC Orange the other day. That's an awesome theater. AMC Orange is, since Downtown Disney closed, probably the best theater in all of Orange County, California. That is a great, great theater. I saw a lot of cool movies there. I think I saw Fantastic Mr. Fox there back in the day. I think I saw Coraline there. Monsters University. A whole bunch of movies I've seen at that theater. That's a great, great theater. I believe Eddie Murphy is one of the highest earning actors of all time. Yeah. I want an AMC Orange 30 video, to be honest. Yeah, you could, I'll tell you an interesting fact about AMC Orange 30. That exact theater is in the DreamWorks book, The Men Who Would Be King, the DreamWorks story, because that is the theater where they test screened Gladiator at. It's when they kind of knew they were going to win the Oscar for Best Picture. But Jeffrey Katzenberg hated that theater. He thought it was a terrible theater because it was so good. It was such a good theater that people would always, when they did the test screenings, rank the movies high. They would always give the films high rankings. Oh my goodness, yeah, Pinocchio fan. You want me to do a Flushed Away video? It's coming. Stay tuned. It's coming. We'll talk about it. Hold your horses. Flushed Away is coming. Sorry, I made a mistake here. Again, in the set, I'm trying to figure out what the heck I did wrong. Okay, that... I think I'm making Shrek's face. Or not. I don't know. Oh god, please don't tell me I'm missing this piece. What the heck did I do wrong? Okay, I have to take apart this section and redo it, because I made a mistake. What DreamWorks history books do you recommend reading? The Man Who Would Be King. Buy that book. Buy that book. It's so good. It has so many interesting stories on DreamWorks. It is mainly focused on the live action division, but it does have a lot of interesting stuff on the animated portion. Not a ton of Shrek, but a lot on Prince of Egypt and Road to El Dorado, because, those were the two movies that Jeffrey Katzenberg really poured his heart and soul into. Okay, we're going back to the beginning of this section, because I made a mistake somewhere. Okay, this, and then it's a two-piece. Okay, that seems simple enough. And then it's that one, okay. There. All right. Where the heck did I go wrong? Okay, so there's that section there. And then there's this section here. So it's going to go that, and that. Oh, this is another one of Shrek's hands. Okay, this is his other hand. And then there. Then we flip it around. think I might have missed this piece. Okay. Boom. And then flip it around. And am I going to put it on this? Okay, so that's done. And then we're going to take this piece, put it on there. Sorry, this section just really confused me. So I'm like taking it real slow, trying to figure out how to do this. Boom. Oh my god. There it is. Part of Shrek's palm right there. Okay. Alright. Wilson Hyde. Thinking about DreamWorks live action films, what are your thoughts on Small Soldiers? It's the biggest cult film from the studio. Yes, I have a friend in real life who collects a lot of Small Soldiers stuff, so his collection's pretty cool. It's one of those things that I like the movie. I don't necessarily love the movie enough to where I'd want to collect the toys, and the toys have gotten so expensive at this point that, like, they're untouchable. They're expensive. They're very expensive. Cheesy Stuff says, favorite type of cheese. Well, Cheesy Stuff, I'm going to break your heart. I'm lactose intolerant. I mean, I can eat cheese, but I usually don't because it never ends well. I like cheese on pizza, though. Joshua says, hey, Austin. Hello. Welcome. You're watching me finish the Shrek. We are building the end of the Shrek here. I'd like to get it done today. Emphasis on like to. At this rate, though, I don't know. Because I've struggled a lot with this set. A lot. Okay, there's his fingers. There's those filthy green sausages, as Fairy Godmother would say. And then we're going to put that... Okay, that's going to go on his arm. And then his arm is going to go on his hip. There we go. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm looking at Shrek in the front, and I realize I put the wrong piece on his foot. The piece that's on his foot is the belt piece I'm missing. I was never missing the piece. I just put it on the wrong part of his body. Okay, let's see if I can fix this without taking apart the whole thing. Okay, I'm so happy I figured this out. You have 40 copies of Flushed Away DVDs? Oh my god. Are they all different? Are they like variants? Or is it just like 40 of the same copy? Oh, the leg, it won't come off. Okay. Here we go. Let's figure this out. We can do this. We can fix this. It's like really in there. And it's a flat piece too, so I can't even use the piece remover they give you. It's like really wedged in there. Barney Kako Demon? You were correct. War of the Worlds is a DreamWorks movie. That's one of my sister's favorite movies ever, is the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds movie. It's okay. It's okay. Oh man, this piece is tough. Come on. I'm going to stick my fingernail in there. I don't even care at this point if I injure myself. I just want this piece out. Oh my god. Here we go. We've detached Shrek. I'm very carefully removing part of his foot, putting the correct piece on. We're performing surgery. Okay. And then the belt piece is going to carefully go right there. Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that. It's looking like a Shrek and Donkey. It's Shrek and Donkey. It's actually looking complete. We figured this out. Okay. We are now on to bag 10. The final bag. Thank the maker. Oh my god. I need a sip of water before we get started with this. Okay. You ever watched the live action movie Mouse Hunt? Mouse Hunt is so trippy. The guy who directed that, what's his name? It's the guy that later directed Rango. He did Mouse Hunt, and then he did Rango. And he's known for making very weird films. But I love Rango. Rango's amazing. Here we are. Verbinski, that's it. Gore Verbinski is his name. He's the guy that directed Mouse Hunt. And there's a lot on Mouse Hunt in that book, The Men Who Would Be King. They didn't know what they were getting into with that movie. They wanted like a slapstick, goofy movie, and he ended up directing like this auteur, artsy film, and like Katzenberg and Spielberg wanted to throttle him. They were just like, they were so mad. But the film ended up, it flopped in the theater, but ended up being huge on VHS, so it all worked out in the end. And then Gore Verbinski made Pirates of the Caribbean. And then he made that with Jerry Bruckheimer. Back again to Jerry Bruckheimer. He's the recurring theme of this stream. Yeah, he also directed the Pirates trilogy. Never heard of Mouse Hunt. Oh yeah, no, Mouse Hunt's great. Mouse Hunt's trippy and weird. Watch it. Go watch it. There we go. We're making Shrek's face, you guys. This is it. This is the end of Shrek. This is so exciting. Certified childhood classic. Yeah. You know what's funny about Mouse Hunt is the cover of the VHS, because it's such an early Photoshop job. The mouse looks so goofy on it. Now everything looks polished, but I love those early days of Photoshop. Some of the early VHS covers just look so coarse and weird. Now all the pieces are green. I went from all beige pieces to now all green pieces. I'm looking for this little tiny piece. Nope, thought that was it. Nope. How much of this is just looking for the right piece? I mean, it really does suck that they all look the same. I'm looking for a 1x1 with a hook on the end. So this is a 1x1 by itself. But I need a 1x1 with a hook on the end. If you hear some background noise, that's my air conditioning coming on. Thank God, I was sweating here. But I thought it was just a Lego set that was making me sweat, not the actual temperature. Where is this piece? Let's answer some questions in the chat. I hope Weird Al gets a cameo in Shrek 5. I mean, sure, why the heck not? Can you do a video looking at the DreamWorks DVD video games? Oh yeah, I'm planning that. It's gonna happen. Do you think we'll get Shrek 5 specific sets or figures besides the one that leaked? I think the one that leaked might be it, just because it comes with a lot of minifigures, and usually Lego doesn't, they don't give you everything in one set unless it's a one and done. Usually they break up the main characters, like with Sonic. They did like Knuckles in a set, Sonic in a set. So if you bought them all, you would get the main team. The fact that leaked set comes with all of the main characters kind of tells me it's a one and done, which is a shame because there's so much you could do with Lego Shrek. Like, they could keep that going forever. I could think of set after set after set, but Lego just doesn't really commit to movie themes like they used to. Like, you know, it wasn't that long ago they were doing movies like The Lone Ranger would get like 5 or 6 sets. Now they just do like 1 or 2 and they're like on to the next thing. I mean, some movies get 1 set and that's it. Yeah. What's your guys' favorite like Lego theme? That'd be a fun one to ask in the chat. What do you guys like? You like Ninjago, or you like, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean? That was another big Lego set back in the day. The Lord of the Rings sets always looked really cool to me. I never cared for much for Lord of the Rings, but I appreciated how good those sets were. Those were like nice sets. Well, Star Wars, of course. Lego Star Wars was always on a generational run. They're still making good Lego Star Wars sets. Personally, I love Lego Parks Disney. A good choice, Wilson Hyde. I really wanted to look at the new Main Street set they had on display at the store at Downtown Disney, but it was rough. It was so rough. I mean, there were literally kids biting my ankle, and that is not overreaction. They were actually like gnawing on me, and the parent was like not doing any job to keep her kids in check, and I was being shaked from side to side. It was like crazy in that store. Oh my God. Lego City Undercover. I never played that one. It's like GTA but with Lego, right? I always wanted to play it though. I remember watching the E3 presentation for that game way back in the day when they debuted the Wii U. And that was like the big killer app for the Wii U. And I'm like, really? Lego Grand Theft Auto is like Nintendo's big game? But it came out and everyone said it was great. I just never got around to playing it, unfortunately. Disco Bunny says Agents, Power Miners, and Atlantis. Wow. Generational run of themes right there. Those are great choices. I loved Atlantis. Atlantis was really cool. I would love to see Lego do like an underwater type of theme again. That would be neat. The Wii U was a dark time indeed. Yeah, that was the ending of my Nintendo fandom. I was all in on Nintendo, man. I was a diehard, and I stuck around for the Wii U era, and that was kind of what killed it. I stuck away all the way until the first year of the Switch, and then my Switch broke. I had the Joy-Con drift really badly, and the console itself was having some issues, like reading the game cards, and they told me I'd have to send my console in, and they'd have to wipe the data to fix it. I would lose all my data, and they were going to charge me $90. And I was like, no. What? I built it backwards again? How does this keep happening? I don't understand how I make these mistakes. I don't get it. I feel so bad for Austin with his luck on Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, it was rough. It was rough. And then I ended up telling him no, and I sold the Switch I had for parts. And then I kid you not, 3 weeks after that, there was a federal judge ruled that Nintendo unlawfully sold people a broken model of the Switch, which happened to be the serial number I had. I had that exact model. And the judge said that Nintendo had to give every one of those people a new Switch free of charge. And I did not have the Switch anymore, so I couldn't get it. If I had waited 3 weeks, I would have had a new Switch sent to me. That was brutal. That was very, very brutal. Oh yeah, Pinocchio, please don't spam the chat. Please, that's all I ask. I don't ever want to have to pull out the ban hammer here. Never. Just don't spam. That's all I ask. Flushed away though. I mean, it's great. It happens to everyone. There's always that one Lego set. Yeah, well, this is the first Lego set I built in like 15 years. I'm a little worried about the Shrek sets. I hope they're not all this difficult. Bro, one, I'm really sad now. Yeah, it was the worst luck ever. And I was a Nintendo diehard. I had never bought a PlayStation until after I had those issues. It was enough to like break a diehard obsession with Nintendo. I would go to Comic-Con and compete in the tournaments and do what they called the Nintendo Lounge, which was like an all-day Nintendo event. I was all in on Splatoon. I used to dress up in the full squid costume, paint my face, yeah. But it was not meant to be. Shrek's more like Fred Flintstone. Yeah, he's kind of looking like Fred Flintstone here with the body type. There's a lot in common between Shrek and Flintstones. If you think about it, Shrek's humor was pretty much just fairy tale Flintstones. They both have the same anachronistic sense of humor of like what if modern thing, but in ancient time period, right? Flintstones is like prehistoric, and Shrek is like medieval times. Go watch Comfort Cartoons if you want videos on Jimmy Neutron content. Yes, go watch Marcus over at Comfort Cartoons. A great friend of the channel. I was actually just over at his house the other day, and he was showing me all of his amazing collection. And he has some really cool stuff, especially Jimmy Neutron. He's got the full Jimmy Neutron action figure line, which is like unbelievably amazing. Shrek is kind of like the dad from Dinosaur sitcom. Yeah, Ola Sinclair. Yeah. I can see that. I can totally see that. In a weird way, Shrek is like, we're going to go back to Sully. He's really John Goodman coded. There's an alternate timeline where John Goodman played a gentler version of Shrek. Because the Chris Farley version of Shrek was easily a role John Goodman could have taken over for. But Mike Myers took over, and he definitely put his own spin on Shrek. Shrek versus Ola Sinclair. Who would win? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I don't know if I'd trust Ola Sinclair. He did cause, the entire planet to have, like, the Ice Age, right? Doesn't he cause the whole planet to die in the end? I guess spoilers for Dinosaur. It doesn't have the most happy ending of any TV show. They all die. That's really the ending of the show. I genuinely believe John Goodman will be in Shrek 5. He could be. He was just making an appearance the other day. He looked pretty good for his age. I mean, he's not young. He's getting up there, but he looked great. Yes, oil kills the planet. Yeah, I'm telling you, he does, right? That's the ending of the show, is he causes the Ice Age. Um, it's some ecological accident, right? Because I know he works for the oil company. I think he kills some habitat that was, like, crucial for the survival of the ecosystem, and it causes them all to die. The final shot is, like, the news anchor signing off, and he's like, thanks for watching. Good night, and goodbye. And it's, like, it's so dark and depressing. As a kid, it'll give you nightmares. It's like, what? Um, does Oil have a fighting resume? I don't remember. I don't know. I haven't watched Dinosaurs in a while. Does Oil, does he put up a fight? Nope. Messed that up. Once again. Okay, there we go. And then, okay, we're on the right track now. Wait. Yes. Yes, we are. This is what I was missing. There we go. And then these go here, and then these go here. I think pulling Shrek's teeth would have been easier than building this Lego set. I will be honest. Speaking of John Goodman, you ever watched Reel Back, A Dinosaur Story? I have. I don't think that movie's very good. I'm sorry to everyone out there that grew up with it and loved it, but it's rough. It's very rough. I recently started rewatching Dinosaurs, and I don't remember that. I gotta keep at it. You go watch it all the way until the end. It's quite a show. But Dinosaurs is good. Dinosaurs is a good show. NECA was making Dinosaurs action figures recently. I saw them at Target, and they looked really good. Sometimes it's really painful to, like, see stuff you want to buy, but, like, no. Gotta stay focused on Shrek. I want to be up to date with all the latest Shrek stuff. I don't want to fall behind. That's kind of my goal in the next year, is to, like, keep at it with the latest Shrek releases. And to think Shrek was almost in the style of Reel Back. It was. It was going to be in the Amblimation style. There's some drawings online of Shrek and Donkey that look just like Reel Back, A Dinosaur Story. It'll give you a great look into what that would have been. And it's not as good as the 3D look they went with. It isn't. It still would have been good, but it wouldn't have been great. Have you ever seen Ivan the Incredible? Nope. I don't know what that is. I'll be honest. Okay, there's Shrek. I think this is supposed to be his brain. This little pink thing here. It's kind of weird that, like, you can remove... Well, we'll show you at the end, but you can remove his belly and, like see what's in it. It's very interesting. Well, Holly got me fighting with Shrek and SpongeBob. Oddly awesome. The crossover we didn't know we needed, right? You can have a Shrek-SpongeBob duo in Brawlhalla. And that's very me and Marcus coded, right? It'll be me and Marcus's duo in Brawlhalla. I wanted to get into Brawlhalla. It just comes down to time. And also money. The Shrek characters were pretty expensive, I saw. It was like $50-$60 if you want, like, all the Shrek characters in Brawlhalla, which is honestly a lot more than I thought it would cost. I thought it would be like $20 to get all the characters, but no, it's pricey. You've watched the Donkey Kong Country TV show. Yeah, it's trippy. I like the animation, though. I want to say that was Nelvana? I think that was Nelvana that animated that, but it was cutting edge for the time. And it still holds up. It still looks great. Okay. Wait. There we go. And there. Okay, and then that is gonna go here. Oh yeah, okay. Yep. And then this one. Okay. We're back on track. Kind of. Maybe. How do you feel about the Tinkerbell movies? Never seen them. I never saw the direct-to-DVD Tinkerbell movies. I've heard they're good, though. What do you guys? Do you guys like the Tinkerbell, the whole Disney Fairies brand? What happened to that? Like, why did it disappear? That was a cash cow for Disney. Sometimes I wonder, like, why these franchises stop. Like Bionicle, for instance. Why did they stop making Bionicles? There's no way those stopped selling. Those were always popular. Some licenses are actually forever. Like Ninja Turtles. You know, they were very wise to never stop making Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles will just always be cool and always be popular. Why did they stop making Shrek? Well, they stopped making Shrek because DreamWorks got financially, they were financially strapped for cash near the end of the 2010s. And How to Train Your Dragon was kind of the savior, and it came out the same summer as Shrek Forever After. So when Shrek Forever After underperformed and How to Train Your Dragon exceeded expectations, they made the wise decision to focus all of the 2010s on How to Train Your Dragon, which financially was a smart move. Could it save DreamWorks? No. They still went bankrupt. How? How did I make... That doesn't make any sense. I seem to have made another mistake, and it just doesn't make any sense at all. I don't get it. I just don't get what I did wrong here, but this piece should be up a little more when it's actually back. I know all things Disney fairies. Thank you for answering my question. Excellent. Well, I mean, why did they stop making them, though? Like, I'm genuinely curious. What happened to Disney fairies? Wow, okay. I did make a mistake. This goes on this side. Like that. And then this is gonna go here. And that one is gonna go there. Okay, we're good. We're good. False alarm. Figured it out. What else? Mom, why did they stop making DreamWorks animation movies? DreamWorks collapsed in the 2010s because of a bunch of movies. Penguins in Madagascar underperformed, which, of course it did. It was a very popular TV show. People aren't going to go see it in the theater when they can go watch it at home. Same reason movies like The Mandalorian and Grogu didn't go well, as people are like, well, I'll just stay home and watch it. And then also, Mr. Peabody and Shorman was a big miscalculation for DreamWorks. That film flopped. Turbo was another big miscalculation. And in Hollywood, there just isn't that much room for error. There just isn't. You make a few mistakes, and you run out of money. These movies cost a lot of money, and they take a long time to make. So, that goes there. I'm trying to figure out... Okay, this... There we go. Okay. DreamWorks really overspent in the 2000s and 2010s. Yes, they did, Wilson. Yes, they did. Another reason they overspent was 3D. DreamWorks spent a lot of money on this 3D. I think it was called True 3D, and it was actually rendering the movies themselves in 3D. So usually you do a 3D conversion, where you take the film, you hand it to a third party that slices it up into different layers, and that's like 99% of 3D movies you see are just another company has split the movie into dimensions. But DreamWorks was rendering movies in 3D. They were actually taking the animation and rendering them on different layers for 3D, which is why the DreamWorks 3D movies look really, really sharp, but that costs a metric ton of money. I can't even imagine how much money that costs. So that was a big mistake they made. Did they put Shrek 5 IMAX tickets on sale a month before the movie? Yes. Yes. As soon as they have an actual release date and they can lock in, they'll put IMAX tickets on sale. But the delays have just been too brutal. I mean, you want to know how bad the Shrek delays are? They just announced that they finished recording lines for Cameron Diaz, Eddie Murphy, and Mike Myers. That is ridiculous. Most animated movies finish recording lines like a year and a half before the animation even starts. I don't know. Like, I felt like that was way too late of an announcement. They really just finished recording lines. That tells me that they significantly retooled Shrek 5. I mean, we kind of already know they have, but that just confirms it. Disney shut down Disney's Toon Studios back in 2018. I believe that's why they stopped making direct-to-video Tinkerbell movies. Yes, okay, you were correct. Those were animated by the direct-to-video department, and those got shut down by John Lasseter, who, funnily enough, was fired in 2019, so just a year after he shut the studio down. So that was a huge mistake. I know Lasseter shut down that department, even though they were very profitable, because he didn't like that the movies they were making were not getting critical reception. I do remember when Lasseter shut that down, so that was a big mistake. I wonder if they're going to make toys for the older Shrek movies, as in figures and dolls. I think they will. I think there will be like a retro anniversary line for the new movie, but, you know, I know as much as you, so we shall see. I wonder if they're going to... I just read that one. Do you believe the OG live-action plot leak was real? I actually do. I actually do believe that was real. It came from multiple sources. There were multiple people saying that, and it kind of lines up with the fact that Kung Fu Panda 4 was going to have that exact same plot, but they shelved it because of another project. That other project had to have been Shrek 5. It had to have been. If Shrek 5 was doing that plot, you couldn't have had another DreamWorks movie do that plot so soon. I do believe that the Kung Fu Panda people genuinely didn't know that the Shrek studio down the hall was making the exact same movie. And that's what caused it to get changed. NECA should get the Shrek license. Yeah, I would love that. Wilson Hyde, I also think we're going to get more supporting classic Shrek and modern Shrek. Yeah, it's going to be like Sonic. They're going to market it like Sonic. Classic era and new era for Shrek merch. Greyhound, what happened to PDI DreamWorks? It was too expensive. They shut down PDI because it was too expensive. And I think that was a real shame that they gutted it. That was an incredible animation studio. And now they just outsource everything. They do all their creative work in Glendale still. But anything in terms of, like, actually rendering the 3D animation, they just outsource it to Sony. Whoever will take the work, honestly. What is DreamWorks' obsession with wanting to put their characters into live action? That is a good question. They're really into the concept, aren't they? Maybe they saw that Simpsons episode from way back when. Oh, you know what, actually? That Simpsons episode where Homer goes in the real world, that was animated by PDI. Believe it or not, that was one of the early projects by PDI before they got bought out by DreamWorks. So if you want to see technically a DreamWorks animated version of that plot that did release, watch the Simpsons episode. It's one of the Treehouse of Horrors where Homer goes into the real world. That was animated by DreamWorks. PDI is tragic. Hell, didn't even work on Shrek 4. No, they didn't. That's why Shrek 4 looks weird, right? Because Shrek 4 looks a little different. It's like they took the animation models and put them in a new lighting engine. Because the lighting in that film looks so different compared to the other movies. What's your favorite fact? I don't know. It's a good question. What do you think about my Chibi Shrek plush? Is it in the community tab? I'll have to check it out. Let's do that. Then we're going to flip his head this way. What am I looking at in this step? Let's figure this one out. Well, no, genuinely, what am I looking at in this step? I don't get it. Oh, wait, that goes this way. Okay, that, and then there's his face. Okay, we did everything on this page. That's why. Look, Shrek's head. There it is. Someone said Shrek 4 was like Shrek going to an HD console like the Wii U, and I can't unsee it. Pavement Angel also, how come you no longer post shorts showing your flea market finds? I've just been too busy, I'll be honest. I have a massive, The Move is the honest answer. The Move caused videos to just, pile up, and everything I've been releasing, with the exception of D23, has been stuff I've kind of been sitting on for a while. I moved, I filmed a bunch of videos, I had older videos, so things just kind of got caught, and I haven't had the space or time to film that sort of thing, but we'll get back to it. I'm finally almost caught up. I have one more video that's been stockpiled for a month, and that one's going to come out next week. It's actually a review of a new Shrek toy, so you'll see that probably Friday or Saturday, depending on when I'm free. One of your Shrek news videos inspired me to make a Disney Fairies news video. Awesome, that's great. That's really great. Any lost Austin the Brimstone videos that were planned but scrapped? Oh, all the time. I'm always thinking of videos, but usually things that don't happen, I just put in the back of my head and save for another time. So it'll happen. It'll happen. This goes here. You know what? Technically, a lost video would be the Lego Shrek review. I was going to do a proper video on the set, but because of the house move, which happened the week this came out, it just got pushed and pushed and pushed, and now I'm like, okay, how can I cover the Lego Shrek in a way that people haven't seen before? Because all the other YouTubers have long reviewed this set, so I was thinking, how can I make mine different? And I'm like, well, why not just review it live? We'll just do it live, and this has been quite the experience, has it? Okay, so this... What? Okay, so this is going to go on Shrek, but the set isn't done yet. There we go. Believe it or not, the set is not done yet. There's still more to do. If DreamWorks made a Roger Rabbit-like movie, that would be cool. Donkey is the living movie star, living La Vida Loca, and include Shrek behind-the-scenes stuff. Yeah, no, I mean, they've experimented a little with that. Like having the Shrek characters as movie stars. The Barbara Walters Shrek interview comes to mind as, like, one of my favorite bizarro pieces of Shrek media to ever exist. And then also the From the Swamp to the Screen book includes interviews with the Shrek characters, but as if they were movie stars. Like, as if Donkey and Shrek were movie stars playing themselves. It's very bizarre. Looks like Shrek had a bad shave or something right now. Does he look odd? Let's see. Oh yeah, he's missing, like, the lower piece of his chin. I don't know what's with that. I imagine that'll come later. Maybe. We shall see. Did I miss a step? I missed Shrek's chin. You got a good eye. Look at that smoke. Yeah, well, look, I have these two pieces here, and this is his chin. His big Jay Leno chin. There we go. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's looking very complete. And this is the swamp sign. The last thing I'm making, the Beware Ogre sign. There we go. Okay. Okay, we're going to flip this around now. Oh, God. Flip and turn. Then this. And then that. And then this piece. Oh, my God. We're so close to being done. He's still live? Yes, I am still live, believe it or not. I know, this has been a long, long live stream, but I want this set done. I want Lego Shrek completed, and we are completing Lego Shrek. It's happening. Like, minutes from now, the set will be finished. Thank goodness. Except for the part where I messed up. How did I do that? Oh, no. What did I do? Okay, see if I can fix this. That. Okay, this goes here with... Oh, I see now. That. I just showed up. I didn't realize how long the stream was. Yeah, it's a legendary stream, but we are completing this set. There. I woke up today and I'm like, I am completing Lego Shrek today. It is happening. Okay, that. Oh my God, this is the last step. This is it. And then Puss in Boots is gonna go there. Part of his shoulder is falling off. Okay, put the extra pieces away. You guys ready for this? Drum roll, please. All right. Here we are. Dun 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 dun. Lego, Shrek, and Donkey. There it is. Hours and hours of building for Lego, Shrek, and Donkey. So get a good look at that. There they are. Puss in Boots riding Shrek's shoulder. I don't believe we've ever had a piece of merchandise that allows you to display Puss in Boots atop Shrek's shoulder, like he rides it in Shrek 2. Donkey with the blue flower. Where's the blue flower red thorn? Oh, it's on the side here. Hang on. Give me just a second here. So there's two accessories behind them you can remove. So we have the blue flower red thorn, which this thing's already fallen apart. You can open Donkey's mouth and choose to display him with the blue flower red thorn, which I think I'm going to do because I love that line of dialogue so much. This would be so much easier if I wasn't colorblind. And then Shrek's hand is fully articulated here. You can bend his hand outward His fingers can open and close. His filthy green sausages, right? And there's an onion behind Shrek. And this onion can be placed in his hand like so. Excuse me. Need to sip here. So, you have two accessories. You have onion and blue flower, red thorns. And then those can come right out of the figure's hands and they neatly display right behind them on the back of the set. And then the sunflowers behind Donkey can be adjusted. So the way I view this is it's like a playable statue. Because even though they are articulated, they are figures, they don't come off the base. Not only that, but Shrek's hand here, his other hand, is stuck to Donkey. He actually has a gray piece of Donkey's flesh, for lack of a better term, attached to his hand. So you actually cannot remove this one. So Shrek is always, like, permanently fused with Donkey. It's like when SpongeBob says, we're like brothers, only closer, right? And they're stuck together. So it's not something you can play with. It's not like a Bionicle or a Hero Factory. It's just a displayable piece that you can customize. But as far as displayable versions of Shrek and Donkey go, this is one of the best ones out there. Keep in mind that the current Shrek action figures, the McFarlane, the MGA figures, they're pretty pricey on the secondary market. So if you want a nice figure of Shrek and Donkey, you can't go wrong with this set. It does look pretty fantastic when it's complete. I'll give you another good look there. Having said all of that, the build is obviously pretty painful, as you've seen from these live streams. It is not for the casual LEGO builder, and I wouldn't even say the build is fun or interesting. They organized it to where you build a lot of the same type of piece over and over again. So, like, if you saw the streams, you're spending like an hour on the base, which is all beige, then an hour on Donkey, which is all gray, then you're back to Shrek, which is more beige. Like, you're working with earth tones for hours and hours. It's tough. So, I would say if you really want the set, and it does make for a pretty show-stopping piece, put on some podcasts in the background. Do not live stream it like me, because that was tough. It was a lot of fun with you guys, but for those out there looking to build this set, would I build it again? Well, the joke's on me, because guess where I went? To the LEGO store, and guess what I bought? The mini buildable Shrek and Donkey, and now Gingy. So we are going to have another live stream of building. I don't know when it's going to be. It may be tomorrow morning. Maybe. I don't know yet. We will see. It could be tomorrow. It could be the day after. Just keep an eye on YouTube. Very soon. Very soon. I think I may do it tomorrow morning because I do have free time. And, like, what else am I going to do? And this shouldn't be as painful to build. It shouldn't be. Please, because it looks much more fun. Please pace yourself. Well, I have the house to myself tomorrow morning, so I need to do something. So I was thinking I could film a video, or we could do another LEGO live stream. But final thoughts on this set. The build was painful. The result was worth it. And the journey was fun with all of you brogos. Thank you to everyone who showed up to watch these streams. Thank you so, so much. I know it was tedious at times, but it was a lot of fun. And, I mean, I'm going to spin it here for your viewing pleasure. It is a pretty cool display of Puss, Donkey, and Puss. I mean, Puss, Donkey. Puss, Donkey, and Shrek. Yeah, Puss, Donkey, and Shrek. It is a pretty good display of them. Like, it looks fantastic. So I would say, is it worth $130? Yes. I would say yes, because you're certainly getting your time's worth. This is something that's going to keep you busy. Heck, it might make for a great date night, If you and the gal or guy are bored, maybe build a Shrek together. Maybe it's more fun building with a partner. I wouldn't know. I'm still a single brogo. But maybe it's more fun with a partner. It does look great when it's done. The Puss in Boots minifigure alone makes this worth the price of admission. I like the Puss in Boots here a lot more than the one that's in the CMF wave coming out, so keep that in mind. But yeah, there is buildable Shrek. Yeah, tell me about it, Tim. Tell me about it. It seems like there's a lot of fish out there on the sea, but it's tough. It's tough. So there you go. There's the display. I'll feature this prominently on one of the shelves, so if you keep an eye on the Shrek collection, you'll be able to see Lego Shrek and Donkey, and remember the pain of me building and rebuilding this set over and over again, right? Just keep swimming, right? You just got to keep at it. Don't lose hope. There's somebody out there. I will find my Fiona and my happily ever after. But I'll tell you what, today we have a happily ever after because we built the Shrek and Donkey. It is done. We have accomplished this. Let's put the blue flower, red thorns in Donkey's mouth one more time because that is just so cool. There we go. And give Shrek his onion. Yeah, it's a fun set, and thank you to everyone who kept the chat alive for this build. I'll take that building Shrek date idea. Yeah, you know, it might be fun. It might be fun. But look at the end result. Like, that's awesome. It does look great. You know, when they announced it was a buildable set, like, I wasn't really sure on it, but it looks good, you know? So, yes, thank you, Wilson. Thank you to everyone who stopped by. This is it now. I'm going to go ahead and find a spot now on the Shrek collection for our Lego Shrek and Donkey. So, from my swamp to your swamp, thank you for being a part of this, and have a happily ever after. All right.